Welcome. This is something everyone will have experienced in life. You finally get something you have wanted for a long time. It might be a new job, a purchase, more recognition, a relationship, or simply a change you believed would make life feel easier. For a while, it works. You feel pleased, relieved, and perhaps even proud that you reached it. Then the feeling begins to fade. What once seemed exciting becomes familiar, and your attention moves towards the next thing. Before long, the mind begins suggesting that you would feel better if you earned more, owned something better, achieved another goal, or received more approval. Buddhism has examined this pattern for centuries because it sits at the center of human suffering. The problem is not that we want things. The problem is that the mind keeps placing contentment somewhere ahead of us. Life starts to feel like a series of conditions that must be met before we are finally allowed to settle. Wanting creates anticipation, and anticipation can be emotionally powerful. It gives the mind something to focus on and produces the feeling that improvement is approaching. While you are pursuing something, you can imagine that obtaining it will create a lasting change in how you feel. Once you have it, however, the mind quickly adapts. What was once exciting becomes part of ordinary life, and the mind then looks for another target. It is trying to recreate the hope, stimulation, and sense of direction that came with wanting. Each new desire carries another promise that life may soon feel complete. It is this promise that keeps the cycle going. Buddhism describes this pattern through the teaching of craving. Craving is more than simply liking something or having a goal. It begins when the mind believes that peace depends on obtaining, keeping, or avoiding a particular experience. You may tell yourself that you cannot relax until you have more money, that you cannot feel secure until someone reassures you, or that you cannot be satisfied until your circumstances improve. The difficulty is that everything we depend upon is subject to change. Possessions wear out, achievements lose their novelty, relationships develop, and other people's opinions remain outside our control. When we ask temporary things to provide permanent emotional security, disappointment becomes inevitable. Attachment develops when we place too much emotional weight on these changing things. We stop merely enjoying them and begin depending on them to tell us that life is going well. Buddhist non-attachment does not mean abandoning goals or refusing pleasure. It means understanding that no achievement, possession, or relationship can carry the full responsibility for your happiness. A useful place to begin is by noticing the promise attached to a desire. When you think, "Once I have this, I will finally feel better," pause and ask what you expected to change. The goal itself may be sensible, but the emotional promise surrounding it may be unrealistic. The next shift is to allow satisfaction to be temporary without immediately replacing it. When something good happens, let yourself experience it before searching for the next improvement. This is not about forcing gratitude or pretending to be content with everything. It is simply a refusal to treat every achievement as a brief stop on the way to somewhere better. Wanting will always be part of being human. Buddhism does not ask us to become indifferent or give up on change. It asks us to notice when desire becomes a condition for contentment. The cycle becomes less exhausting when you stop expecting the next achievement to complete you. You can still move forward, make plans, and value what you gain, but you no longer have to postpone your peace until everything falls into place. Contentment is not the absence of ambition. It is the ability to pursue something without believing that your life cannot begin until you obtain it. Thank you for being here, and take care.